Hi, and welcome to the VEO Challenge number 2. Thank you and welcome to changing your lifestyle. First of all, give yourself a huge round of applause and give yourself some kudos, because truthfully that's the first step, is making a decision to change your lifestyle. Making a decision that, you know what, maybe there's more to life than what I'm doing right now, and this is the way to do it. The VEO Challenge is truly the ultimate challenge to get your ultimate goals. We're going to talk about the 3 rules of nutrition, and there really is 14 rules of nutrition, but we're just going to go over the top 3 right now. This is the first breakdown. This is kind of the teaser, if you will, but they're the very most important rules you could possibly ever know. So let's kind of go through them. Rule number 1 is eat. That's all it takes, is eating. It's incredibly what the difference of eating does for people. So often people will tell me as they come into the clinic, I mean, I hear this every single day, 100 times a day, they tell me, Maylee, I just don't eat, I'm not hungry. And that's the most common denominator that I've ever, out of all the, people who have come into our offices, that's the common denominator, is that people just don't eat. And then what happens is their metabolism slows down. So if you're at home and you're going, gosh, that sounds just like me, well, you need to listen to this. This is super, super important to your success. Eating. It is the number 1 rule of nutrition. If all you did and all you took from this nutrition plan and this 90-day challenge was that you were able to change the way you eat and when you eat and how much you eat, then you have created a lifestyle change that's worth holding on to for the rest of your life and your children's life. So rule number 1 is to eat. And to eat every 2 to 4 hours, whether you are hungry or not. I'm going to exclamation point that. Whether you're hungry or not, that is so important for you to understand. People go, well, I'm just not hungry, so I don't eat. Wrong. That's how we fix our metabolism, is by eating. When you stop eating, your metabolism stops. People come to me and go, well, how much do you eat? You're at your ideal body fat percentage and ideal body shape, if you will. How do you, and I say, I eat like 2,200 calories a day, sometimes 2,600 calories a day, depending on my workout. Rule number 2 is to follow your proportion sizes in your plan. So on page 3, it's really important to kind of memorize the proportions. Now, my hand is much smaller or larger than a lot of your hands. So it's really important to know your size. So for me, right, if we're looking at this, we're going to do, let's go in order. Let's go vegetables. Okay, both hands. So look at my hand versus maybe your hand. Your hand might be tiny, so it might be the size of one hand of mine. That's how many vegetables, at least, minimum, you should be eating per meal if you'd like. It doesn't really matter. Or at least when you are eating a vegetable, that's how much you should be eating. So if you're out and about and you're like, I don't know how much I should be eating. Well, that's how. This is a really simple, easy way. Okay, so memorize these. The next one is going to be your carbohydrates. So this is your grains, your pastas, your breads, those kinds of things. So brown rice, and so it's your fist. Now my fist, that's at least a half a cup, if not a little more. Probably like 3/4 of a cup. Your cup might be a half a cup. It might be a 1/4 of a cup. It might be 2 cups, depending on the size of your hand. So again, that's how you can kind of change and make this nutrition plan for you. Protein, it's your palm. So again, refer to page 3, but your palm. And so it's really important to see my size. It's like a 6 to 7 ounce steak or chicken. But for some of you, it might be only 3 ounce. And again, for some of you, it might be a 10 ounce. It just depends on how big your palm is, okay? And again, you can't really overeat on protein. It's really hard. For those who are using like MyFitnessPal or using these programs, which I highly suggest, by the way, it's an app that you can download on your phone or even on the computer. It's MyFitnessPal. But on it, your proteins and your carbohydrates are really skewed. So make sure when you go to your nutrition plan in this program, you look at what your percentages are supposed to be, not what the MyFitnessPal tells you they should be, because that's going off of somebody else's plan, not yours. So make sure you customize it to you. Okay. So the next one is fruit. It's just, again, palm, or it's just the size of your fist. So it could be a big fist, it could be a small fist, but nevertheless, it's your fist. Customize it to you. And then you have your fat, just your thumb. I have a pretty good long thumb, so I have like 10 almonds on my behalf, and that's a fat. But some people, they have little tiny baby thumbs, and that's all the fat that they should be consuming per meal, if they're going to consume it every meal. okay? So in our United States lifestyle, it's really hard not to consume fat. It's just the way it runs. Everything has fat in it, I swear, nowadays. So just be really careful when you're looking at you know, your nutrition labels and stuff, that you're looking for how much fat, protein, and carbs are. And we're going to do a whole session on that, so stay tuned. But we'll go to rule number 3 here. So rule number 3 states you're going to combine a carbohydrate with a protein. Anytime you're going to eat a carb, you're going to combine it with a protein. Now, can you eat a protein by itself? Just a protein? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, you can just eat a protein by itself. So if I just wanted a protein shake for breakfast and that's it, I wanted the Pearl 2.0, put it in water, shake it up, and out the door I go, great, go for it, okay? But the idea is to implement this. So if you're going to have a carbohydrate, make sure you're combining it with a protein. Now, it's going to give you a list in your program exactly what are considered carbohydrates. We'll talk about a few. Milk is considered a carbohydrate. Fruits, dairy, for the most part, is considered a carbohydrate. Grains, of course, are carbohydrates, and actually vegetables are considered a carbohydrate. Carbohydrates, I don't care what kind of carb it is, can only last in your body a maximum of 30 minutes. For the next 3.5 hours, here's lunch, here's mid-morning snack, here's afternoon snack, and there's dinner, okay? So for the next 3.5 hours, our body is storing fat. That's why. That is why we're not supposed to, that's why we're supposed to eat every 3 to 4 hours, or every 2 to 4 hours. And that's because our body actually chemically starts to store fat. You've heard the saying, you know, I go into starvation mode if I don't eat. Well, this is the truth. This is reality right here. No human body is different. Whether you're going to store it internally, that's skinny fat, or externally, which means you're obese. Either way doesn't change the fact that our bodies are going to store fat every 3 to 4 hours. So let's say you had just oatmeal for breakfast and you're thinking you're doing really good because oatmeal's really good for you. So you got half the battle. The problem is so here comes your glucose, it goes up, 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 and then after 30 minutes it's going to tank. And it's slowly going to tank, so we're here. And most of us at home, you're thinking, gosh, I don't even eat a mid-morning snack. But let's say you did, you had a fruit. A lot of people just have a fruit. So here comes our glucose pattern, goes straight up, because it's a fruit and it's just a carbohydrate. And then fruit can only last 15 minutes in our bodies, maximum. That's it as far as energy goes, okay? So then we immediately start to crash, all right? And that's a problem for glucose patterns and our glucose levels of our body. It can't handle this. Our brain just goes, ah, and our body starts to freak out. And then here's lunch. Most of us do a very good job of, I'm going to crash, and then it keeps crashing here. So for the next 3 hours and 45 minutes, you are here. You just keep tanking. And then we have lunch. Most of us do a pretty good job of eating protein and a carbohydrate for lunch. I would say most of us. Excuse me. And so that's good. But then what happens, so it'll kind of do this, which is better, and so it'll slowly tank off, which is good. But how many of us actually eat an afternoon snack? Majority of us just don't. This is where all the car accidents happen. It's because our brain is going, ah, and so you die. And you're going to continue to do this and fall. And your brain is just going down. And so this is the problem. So then here's dinner, and you're clear down here, and then you're going to come all the way back up. And then usually most of us, again, will combine a carb and a protein for dinner. So that's good. But then it'll kind of taper off like so when we're supposed to be sleeping. So you can see this terrible glucose pattern. It's just all over the map. Anytime you see these drops, here, 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 that's actually what's causing diabetes in people's lifestyle and our children's lifestyle. It's because we let them just have fruit juice, or we let them just have a fruit for a snack, or we let them just have cereal for breakfast. So changing this up and creating a solution to this problem is the combination. Protein in your body can actually last up to 4 hours, dependent, okay? So if you combine with your oatmeal first thing in the morning, protein, then actually you're gonna have this pretty glucose pattern that will last till your afternoon snack or your mid-morning snack. And it'll kind of taper off a little bit, you know, and then it'll kind of taper here, but then it'll come right back up with this pretty glucose pattern. If you had eaten all day long like this, and then you come home for dinner. Most of my clients' problem stems from dinner time. They go home and they want to ravage everything in their house. They want to eat everything impossible because they're starving, as they should be. Because most of my clients, they don't get this one in, they don't get this one in, and sometimes they get this one in. So you have a right to be starving. You're literally just starving all day long. So when it comes to dinner time, you just want to eat everything you can get your hands on, which I've been there. I do that. I have done that. You know what I mean? So this is the solution. By eating every 2 to 3 hours, every 2 to 4 hours, your body's going to get in a rhythmic pattern and start burning. It's going to want to burn fat. It's going to want to burn food. Your metabolism is going to go through the roof. So rule number 3 is to combine. If you're going to have a carb, combine it with a protein, because proteins last for 3 to 4 hours in your body. If you have any questions, please email us at vailclinic.com/Mrs. Wellness, or you can obviously go to the Facebook page at Vail Clinic, and we'll take care of you. Talk to you soon.